We've managed to get our blood pressures back down, our pulse rates back down to resting. We went through a range of emotions there, didn't we? Not sure which way it was going to go. It literally could have gone either way. Penalties in the end. But having said all that, some big performances there.
Some huge performances. There's a backline we haven't seen before, but they all played brilliantly. All four of them, fantastic. Wan-Bissaka, I've got to say, that one moment in the second half where I skipped past about 5-6 players, he turned that game. That was the catalyst for our 15-20 minutes of good pressure in that second half. And it's all come from him.
What's he on? What's Wan-Bissaka actually on? What? Because when he did that, he took on like 2 or 3 guys. It just turned the screw. He kept Matoma vaguely quiet for most of the game. He's unreal at the moment.
That was like Ronaldinho. I don't know what I'm watching. He's just beat like 3 or 4 players, done a different thing every time. He's clipped it over the first one, then he's done some footwork, faced up the second one, got round him, and then he's just kept going. He got fouled. He's going.
Playing out of this world, isn't it, Wan-Bissaka?
He's playing out of his skin. There's no way, with the way he's playing, that we need a new right back. In terms of in the summer, out of all the things we've got to do, that's got to be bottom of the list now.
Do you know what's really funny about this as well? You as well, in the first 2 games of the season, it was after Liverpool, when we started winning a bit, we stood up outside the shot and you said Wan-Bissaka is done. He is finished. You could tell. Erik turned up. Remember?
I remember that clip's come back in my face. It's all over TikTok. People are like, there's a comp afterwards of everything he's done good after that.
But that's what it's about, isn't it? With new evidence presented to you change your opinion.
Yeah, you have to. And look, if you've seen that with Wan-Bissaka, there's no reason to think that any of Erik ten Hag's targets, if he's turned Wan-Bissaka into a player like that, he can do anything. If he wants Jude Bellingham, he's not the greatest player in sort of certain areas of the pitch right now, but if he's done that with Wan-Bissaka, of course he can do it with anyone else he wants. So look, I trust Erik ten Hag with everything I've got.
Yeah.
Whatever he wants, just give it to him, because you can see how good this guy is. Today, the most important thing, tactically we had a really good setup. It was a lot of man-for-man stuff. You saw Luke Shaw, you saw Lindelof following the Brighton players as they dropped in. Whether it was Welbeck dropping in, whether it was Undav, whether it was Enciso dropping in into that gap, they were following them all the way. At times, there was a bit of a weird thing going on where we had our front 5 really high, and then the rest of the next 5, sort of the back 4 and Casemiro on the halfway line. There's a big gap, a little bit too much space. That will be worked on in time. But I think between getting the tactical plan right and managing the load of the players, because they're all exhausted. They play far too many minutes, so we can't press them for 90 minutes. That's not what we can do. And you can see we had sort of 15, 20-minute spells where we went aggressive, we tried to press them, did things we could do, and then we sat off. We're a bit more passive, saved energy, because you have to. At this time, this sort of part of the season, they haven't recovered fully. You need to do that. And it was a brilliant bit of game management. Yes, we got maybe a little bit fortunate that they weren't as clinical as they could have been, but the game management was fantastic from Ten Hag and fantastic from the players on the pitch as well.
Yeah, we knew that it was going to be a tight game. We knew that it was going to be almost like a game of chess tactically. De Zerbi, how many times did they lure us into their centre-backs and then bang, outlet pass? Or how many times did they have someone dropping off the front and the ball around the corner and a third-man run? Their setup is great. They're really well coached. And their patterns were more obvious than what we were trying to do at this stage, which is incredible with what De Zerbi's done in that short space of time. But everyone's having a lot of praise for the defence today in general, from left back all the way through, but in particular the centre back pairing today in Luke Shaw and Victor Lindelof.
I think you can see the balance that we've got from having the left footer on the left. Luke Shaw, it's just because when he's sort of going a little bit wider to clear things, he's got that foot, he can curve it round into a channel, put the ball vaguely near Rashford. It helps a lot in terms of getting us out of the press, getting us up the pitch, and defensively is fantastic. I think obviously he's not really played up against a big striker today. He's been able to match everyone that Brighton have for pace, really. He did a really good job of reading the game, going in high to press when he needed to, and dropping off and covering Lindelof when he had to as well. I think Ten Hag said before the game that with Lindelof and Shaw, they haven't played together before, but they've worked on anticipating the actions that Brighton do. As you said, the third man runs, the combinations, the way they like to play. They've practiced that enough times, and it's nice to see that both Lindelof and Shaw are intelligent enough to bring that into the game and not switch off.
Well, they complement each other, don't they? Because
they do.
I know Lindelof's not dominant in the air like maybe like Varane or like Maguire is at that.
Yeah.
But in terms of keeping the ball, reading the situation, okay, duels. Lindelof's got better at that. He used to have a tab on top of his head, Lindelof, of being really soft. People can push him off the ball, but actually, he's been very steady. And then Luke Shaw literally is that. He's combative. He's good in the air. He's composed on the ball. He has good spatial awareness, good IQ, good fitness. They literally complement each other, don't they?
They're both brilliant with the ball, and to be honest, Casemiro didn't have his best game. Those guys had to work probably harder than they should have done, but they did a brilliant job. And for the rest of the season, I wouldn't change that back four.
Is that Shaw over Maguire now?
Yeah,
easy?
I think in the centre backs, you've got to have Shaw and Shaw and Lindelof. They work well together. Left back, you've got a choice between Dalot and Malacia. You've got 3 quality fullbacks there that you can rotate for the 2 positions. Keep the centre-back pairing the same. Only bring in Maguire if we absolutely have to manage Lindelof's minutes. For the rest of the time, just keep them there, because for as much as at times Maguire's got a bit of hate, he's just always got that target on his head. It's not good for anyone. It's sort of, it must get in the rest of the other
take him out
teammates.
the firing line.
Yeah, just take him out the firing line.
I think Ten Hag will do that now as well. Like when he could see the balance that those two gave, I can't change that.
The only chance of changing that is if they've got a really dominant aerial striker against us, and we need Maguire's sort of presence,
which isn't Harry Kane. So in our next game,
exactly. So I'll keep 100% Lindelof and Shaw for that game, 100%.
Exactly.
And look, Spurs got smashed today, but you can be sure they'll turn up for that game.
Yeah.
And obviously our lot will be knackered because they played 120 minutes. So it's a tough one.
That's what it's about now, though, isn't it? I mean, look, on this treble talk and stuff like that for Man City, you know, we were speaking about, a lot of people have been speaking about it recently.
Yeah.
And I've been saying, I'm like, you know what, I've started to shift my thinking quite a lot, actually, you know what, forget, I hope Arsenal win the league so City don't do this. I hope Real Madrid beat City so that they don't do that. I hope that AC Milan or Inter Milan beat them so... No. Beat Brighton, beat City, no treble.
Yeah, it's up to us.
It's easier said than done.
Yeah, of course.
But that should be the formula.
It's up to us, and I can tell you this place will be bouncing when it's the final, because everyone knows what's at stake. It reminds me of there was that derby at the Etihad a few years back, I think, when Pogba and Sanchez stepped up.
It was 18, that was.
Yeah, we were 2-0 down. Was it Pogba scored 2 and Smalling scored the winner? Yeah, that is what we need again, because you can't let City win the treble, and I'm so glad we won it today so that it's in our hands. We can stop it. It's within our power. It'll be a tough game, probably the toughest of the season. I think it's only sort of maybe 3 days before that we've got the last league game of the season, which will be a tough game as well. But that is in our hands, and for the rest of the season, that is the most important game. I think top 4's basically nailed on now, unless we lose every game or go on a terrible run. But that is the most important game. And it's, for that sort of situation, that's why you need players like Marcus Rashford, who understands what it's about, have been up all the way through. You need those sorts of people in and around the squad, because they won't let it happen, and they better not let it happen.
What did you make of the substitutions today?
They all came on and had an impact. I think Fred for Eriksen was the right time.
Yeah.
He had energy. He wasn't great with the ball, gave a few balls away, but he had energy. And I think the important thing was when we were pressing, we needed to make sure that we were screening the ball into the midfield players. And only once you're in between the centre-back and the midfield player can you then go and engage. Fred was much better at that than Eriksen was, obviously, because he's a bit quicker. He was able to get in between and then go, but he's also able, if he doesn't manage to get the ball when he goes to the centre-back, he's able to shuffle across quickly and cut off the passing lane again, which Eriksen doesn't really have, so he made a big difference. Weghorst, for the first time, I've seen him win he's won balls in the air. I don't know what I'm seeing.
He was winning headers, mate. He was winning a couple of corners or free kicks and stuff like that. And yeah, it was good to see. And actually, Martial, I know, like, especially in the first half, people behind us, you know, seeing a different tactical setup to what we were seeing. They were going, you know, why is he not running around everywhere? He would have just got passed around. And I know the general consensus was he probably didn't do amazingly well in the first half. But second half, I thought he came in, gathered some nice passes, you know, won some nice free kicks. But he played a long time, is what I wanted to say. He played, that was 84 minutes, 85, something like that. He's getting to 90.
He's getting there. But there's some things he can do that nobody else in our team can do. He can hold off a defender and take the ball like that, sort of off balance on the half turn. No one else can do that. A ball that's sort of coming at him in the air as well. It's a tough one to take. He's doing that. Nobody else can do it. When he's pressing, yes, he doesn't always go and engage stupidly, but that's because he understands his body. He knows he has to manage his energy, and he always makes sure that he follows the right triggers. He doesn't just go and run off like Dan James would have done, just chasing everything, chasing lost causes. He knows when he should go and when he shouldn't.
And Weghorst is the opposite. He will run around everywhere as well.
Again, I think you saw with Weghorst at times, he was just sitting in shape as well. He was waiting for the right moment, because if you don't do that against Brighton, they'll play around you. And there was a couple of moments in the first half, Rashford got drawn in to press the outside centre-back, or the right centre-back in those case, and they just have so much joy down the wing. You can't do that against these. They're good. They bait the press. They're so comfortable. They can have a guy sprinting at them 2 yards away, they'll still find a pass. They're that good. You can't go around chasing shallows. You have to wait for your triggers.
But the finer margins to wrap up, though, it all comes down to bottle and nerves, doesn't it? It all comes down to how you manage the pressure moments. And once you've put in a workman-like performance to get to 0-0, it's nip and tuck, it's very tight. It's who's going to score their penalties and who's going to hold their nerve. And yes, David De Gea didn't save one, which we were saying, you know, we both said, I was like, they're going to have to miss the target. I can't see David saving one, which is what happened. But we had to score all of our penalties.
We did have to score them.
Some big... Sancho, you know, big pressure moment you worried about. His nerve. Top corner. Weghorst can't score for love nor money in open play. Puts the ball down on the spot, scores. So we held on it. And then Iceman Victor Lindelof getting a chance to do that.
Before Solly March took his penalty, was it him at the missed? Can't remember. No, it might have been later.
It was a left footer. Was it?
Yeah, before Solly March took it, Weghorst is going up to him with the ball in his hand, kissing the ball right in his face, right in Solly March's face, got in his head. And as soon as that ball went in from Lindelof afterwards, Weghorst, he didn't sprint and celebrate with the team. He sprinted right over to the United fans, celebrate in front of them.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't think we should keep him next year, but whilst he's here, he gets it. He gets what it means. He's not good enough, but he gets it. He gets it at least.
And who was your man of the match?
I think Anthony was really good. I was really happy with him. Best of our attackers for me, but it's Lindelof. Lindelof was absolutely unreal. The guy is ice cold. And I said it on Thursday, even when everything else is crumbling around him, and on Thursday night everybody else was shocking, but he was still demanding the ball, carrying it through the lines, finding a way to pass the ball forwards. He never lets the pressure get to his head, and I would love to keep him around. I think whoever else you want to get rid of, that guy's dependable. He may not be the best player on the pitch every week, well he was tonight, but he's a dependable, reliable guy. Keep
Steady
him.
guy,
Really happy with him. Really happy.
Big up. On to the final we go.
Let's go.
Nice one.